CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Brendan Purdy.
Our priority is the well-being of Albertans and the reliability of the power they depend on.
Tonight on CTV News, independent artificial intelligence. Self-sustained AI data centers are welcome to our province. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. The provincial government is making it easier for tech companies to open data centers. AI data centers are large facilities that house computer processors that increase artificial intelligence processing power and data storage. The centers rely on large amounts of electricity and require cooling, often using water. The founder of Canadian-based firm Boca Raton Security tells CTV News large data centers can consume as much water as a mid-sized municipality. The province says it's prioritizing projects that promise to power themselves so that a strain isn't put on Alberta's electricity grid or its natural resources. Utilities Minister Nathan Neudorf says fears about a so-called AI bubble are unfounded, as Alberta wouldn't be on the hook financially. Neudorf adds there's no need to worry about a future without AI where large projects are left abandoned, like Alberta's orphaned wells.
The way we're setting this up, where proponents bring the power that they need to use and they set up those agreements, Alberta itself is quite insulated against those potential futures. And if there are market ups and downs like there is with every market, again, it is not the public purse that is holding that responsibility, it's private investment.
The province says businesses, not the public, would pay for the necessary transmission upgrades if they're needed, adding its rules are based on issues raised in previous data center locations where centers drove up power costs and used large quantities of water. The province says the new rules will apply to projects moving forward. Previous projects have been approved with existing grid capabilities factored in. According to the Alberta Electric Systems Operator, 37 data load proposals are already in various stages of approval in our province, and to accommodate all of them would take twice Alberta's current electricity demand. The province says it's unrealistic to assume that all 37 of those projects will be completed. What it means to be an Alberta whiskey will soon be defined by new legislation and a first-of-its-kind author. Artificial intelligence will write the bill draft in an effort to streamline some provincial government work. CTV's Tim Brook explains how that'll work and the implications.
Staff at Burwood Distillery are busy packing up Christmas cheer. And this year, they're hoping for some extra recognition.
Well, right now, we're producing some of the world's highest quality whiskey, but we're not telling that story on an international level.
Burwood will soon have a hand in developing the new Alberta Whiskey Act. It will define what's legally Alberta whiskey, things like ingredients, characteristics, and taste. It's a seemingly straightforward task for a human, so the bill's author may surprise you.
I'm actually really excited about the utilization of artificial intelligence in the drafting of this act.
The provincial government will prompt AI to draft the act.
What a better piece of legislation than the Alberta Whiskey Act. It doesn't involve any hearts or lungs. If AI gets it wrong, then we can use human writers that can correct it.
There will be some guardrails to ensure everything is accurate, and the Justice Minister will likely have the final proofread.
I'm not aware of a jurisdiction in Canada that has used AI to write legislation, so it only makes sense that we would go there first because we're leaders in tech and innovation.
South of the border, some states have used AI for legislative reasons, but experts say in Canada there could be untapped potential.
And I think the opportunity here is how do we produce more effective legislation that takes into account big sets of data.
Of course, there's a chance this act needs to be researched and written twice over if AI can't stay factual or legally airtight. But if it does go according to plan,
this is a moment where expectations are going to be set around what AI systems are going to be used for and how they can be used by lawmakers to be able to shape Canadian precedent.
Expect to see the Alberta Whiskey Act tabled in 2026. Tim Brook, CTV News, Calgary.
Elections Alberta has approved another 5 recall petitions. That brings the total number of UCP MLAs who could face a recall vote to 14. CTV's Naramanisa explains the other steps needed before that could happen.
I think recall is good. I think this recall action will fail.
Yes, I am one of them. Obviously, I'm not very comfortable with it, but I feel like I'm a very hardworking MLA.
Recall petitions were issued for 5 more UCP MLAs on Tuesday, making 14 UCP MLAs so far on the recall list.
So more than a third of their caucus is up for recall with more to come. I don't know how successful these petitions will be, but certainly they are incredibly destabilizing.
Process-wise, we've gone through, stamped it.
The recall petitions are handled by the Elections Alberta team.
Our office is definitely busy with the intake of recall applications that have come across our desk.
Jennifer Muskowski says there are many steps after the petitions are issued. When an MLA recall petition is issued, the person behind the petition has 3 months to collect signatures in the riding that are equal to at least 60% of the votes cast in the 2023 election. If that happens and the signatures are verified, voters in the constituency will be asked, should the MLA be recalled? If more than half say yes, the MLA is removed from its seat and a by-election has to be held within 6 months. Earlier this month, Elections Alberta asked for more than $13 million to help with verification work. At the time, there were only 4 petitions. A legislature committee only agreed to $1.5 million more.
Elections Alberta does have an appointment in the coming weeks to present our budget to our standing committee, and so that's where we are.
The recall legislation will take some time for the next steps. Nair Misa, CTV News, Edmonton.
Some Alberta healthcare workers have reached a new collective agreement with Alberta Health Services. 66% of Health Sciences Association of Alberta members voted in favor of the agreement. This agreement covers more than 22,000 healthcare workers, including mental health and addictions counselors, social workers, paramedics, pharmacists, and psychologists, among others. The union says the new agreement includes a 12% wage increase over 4 years, enhanced medical benefits, as well as increased mileage and meal reimbursement rates. There's also a $54 million fund to retain and recruit workers in rural Alberta. More than 15,000 union members cast their ballots over the last 5 days. In a statement, Finance Minister Nate Horner said the new agreement provides fair compensation and improved benefits to help retain and recruit these vital professionals. The province is moving forward with a new program for people with disabilities who want to join the workforce. The Alberta Disability Assistance Program would run alongside the existing Assured Income for the Severely Handicapped program known as AISH. ADAP will allow disabled Albertans who are able to work to gain employment while still receiving financial benefits. Social Services Minister Jason Nixon says the program is intended to expand opportunity.
We've heard the importance of providing pathways to employment for individuals who are able to work but still need the support of benefits. That's where ADAP comes in. It's a program built explicitly to support Albertans with disabilities who are able to work, empowering them with tools and resources they need to gain new skills and work to their full potential while continuing to receive the benefits that they need.
ADAP is slated to launch in July of 2026. Dozens of people, police say, are connected to a new outlaw motorcycle club in Edmonton have been arrested. Police say the One Order MC is closely aligned with the Hells Angels and has chapters across eastern Canada. Drugs, guns, and cash were seized in raids at 40 locations in Alberta and BC by EPS, RCMP, Alert, and BC's Special Gang Unit.
We assessed that the presence of this club in Edmonton would pose a threat to our city. These are criminal organizations that are associated with trafficking in firearms and in drugs to the detriment of the safety of our communities.
7 people from Edmonton and the surrounding area face dozens of charges, including for firearms, trafficking, and commission of an offense for a criminal organization. With the weather turning colder, it means Edmontonians will get a reprieve from some of the construction in our city. $1.5 billion was spent on projects this year, from LRT expansion to bridges and roads to neighborhood renewal. CTV's Amanda Anderson reports.
there you go.
Instead of cutting a ribbon, the tradition of uncoupling a fire hose marked the official opening of Edmonton's newest fire hall in Blatchford.
Now the formal handshakes are done, the plans are rolled up, the doors are open, the trucks are ready, and our watch has begun.
This emissions-neutral fire hall is one of nearly 60 projects the city completed, out of 200 that were in the planning, design, or construction stages at the start of the year.
Vast majority of those projects completed on schedule and on budget.
The city says 80% are on time, 90% on budget, but could not tell us which projects are behind or over budget. A few of the major projects completed include Warehouse Park and the Beaver Hills Bridge, with the Coronation Park Sports and Rec Center among the projects almost done.
Edmontonians are also eagerly awaiting the completion of the William Howerlick Rehabilitation Project, which is anticipated to open early in the new year.
The city is also celebrating what it calls significant progress on the LRT lines, from the Capital Line South to the Valley Line West.
And all 6 intersections that in that plan being reopened on or ahead of schedule. Many of the roads along the LRT alignment are now in their final permanent traffic configuration.
The mayor says so many construction projects happening at once is the result of years of underfunding and rapid growth.
We heard Edmontonians loud and clear. There has been a real impact to the amount of construction, and I don't see that changing anytime soon because of how rapidly we're growing and all of the renewal that needs to happen.
We're really working with industry and with all of our teams to really unlock those innovative approaches to find solutions that really allow for we know it's disruptive. How do we limit that disruption and be as efficient as possible in getting projects done?
Despite those efforts, there's no promises it won't be another bumpy road ahead next season. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Coronation Rec Center is expected to fully open at the end of January. Construction on the rec center started about 3 years ago. The indoor cycling track opened last month. The rest of the facility will include a running track, different court areas, a dedicated spin studio, and bouldering wall. It'll also integrate the Peter Hemingway Aquatic Center. The city says this will make Coronation, the first indoor triathlon training facility in North America that can support year-round training and events. It opens on January 27th. 2025 has become the deadliest year on record since Edmonton introduced the Vision Zero traffic safety program 10 years ago. A city report blames population growth, driver behavior, and restrictions on photo radar for the spike in deaths. CTV's Jeremy Thompson breaks down what the mayor plans to do next.
The city has a goal for safer streets. Guided by the global safety strategy Vision Zero, Edmonton aims to have no traffic deaths or serious injuries. But lately, those crashes have been increasing.
It's very concerning to see, especially the trend in the last 2 years.
The city began the Vision Zero program in 2015 after averaging 27 annual traffic deaths the decade prior. The strategy appeared to be making a difference, even outside of the record low deaths during the pandemic when fewer cars were on the road. The provincial government started bringing in restrictions on photo radar in 2019. A new report for council says in recent years, as speeding worsened, traffic deaths climbed, reaching 31 so far in 2025. The raw death totals don't tell the full story on traffic safety. The city report shows our population has grown by more than 200,000 people since 2017. The total number of licensed drivers is up more than 122,000 since the pandemic, and city data shows overall traffic volume is up more than 30% in just the last 5 years. The mayor says it all adds up to a different mindset for drivers.
More people driving in an unsafe manner. With the loss of things like photo radar, it feels like there are less consequences for people's actions on the road in terms of them being held accountable.
Next solution, a new traffic safety team of peace officers.
Work 7 days a week, morning to night, that can hold folks accountable for unsafe behavior.
Community standards peace officers already perform thousands of traffic stops each year. One option for the new team would quintuple the number of hours dedicated to catching speeders and distracted drivers, draining the city's photo radar reserve to do so. Council will debate the proposal during budget talks next week. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
New tax information shows that the federal government and provinces have taken in more than $5 billion in tax revenue since cannabis was legalized 7 years ago. The feds collected a little more than $1 billion. Alberta raked in more than $1 billion in tax revenue, second only to Ontario. Alberta also collected the most per capita tax revenue of any province, pulling in about $210 a person. The next closest number was the Northwest Territories. It collected nearly $136 a person in cannabis tax revenue. The information was made available after a Conservative MP requested a breakdown of cannabis revenue. Canadian curling legend and TV personality Colleen Jones has died at 65. A two-time world and six-time Canadian women's champion, Jones appeared at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts 21 times and competed in the most Scotties games in the tournament's history. Her son posted online that Jones battled cancer for 3 years. Just ahead, eyes in the sky. The space weather monitoring system is doubling down on defense. Plus, redo at the zoo. The Edmonton Zoo.
Animal well-being is the principal underlying theme and priority for this plan.
Good evening, folks. Edmonton, one of the warmest spots in Alberta today as we got to 1 for a daytime high. Should be a handful of degrees below zero tomorrow, though. Maybe some flurries on Thursday. We'll talk more about all that in just a few minutes.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Welcome back. The University of Calgary has spent decades developing a space weather network. Now it's collaborating with Canada's military, the U.S. Navy, and NATO to help with defense operations. CTV's Mark Villani explains.
High above the Arctic, defense operations are well underway. And in the NORAD Situation Room, there's little room for error. Space weather, solar storms, and disturbances in the upper atmosphere can all impact satellite signals and radar.
We're really looking to get at the dynamics of those larger space processes.
It's why the University of Calgary spent more than 4 decades developing its space weather network across Canada and the northern United States, building 22 high-frequency sensors. Resembling big metal umbrellas, they track how radio waves and high-energy auroras are absorbed above the Earth. That data supports defense operations, determining if GPS or satellite signals are disrupted for critical infrastructure.
We're looking for breadth of coverage right now so that we can talk about phenomena that are evolving in the high Arctic versus those that are occurring at lower latitudes.
That allows us to detect jamming, spoofing, other forms of anomalous behavior in Canada's near-Earth space environment.
The sensors, known as hyperspectral rheometers, span across the prairies and far into the north with extensions into Yukon and Alaska. Each one has several receivers, expertly soldered and installed by UCalgary researchers.
So we can see here we have this little guy.
Grad student Shakira Gadawan is specifically looking at how signals travel through the ionosphere, using instruments to identify whether they're human-made or naturally occurring. She says each signal has its own unique signature to figure out where it's coming from.
For example, I'm like, okay, this signature belongs to Yellowknife, or this belongs to the signal from Colorado. And then I know the distance from my receiver to that place of signal propagation.
And that extra bit of knowledge hopes to go a long way into modernizing Canadian defense.
We're going to get a larger scale view into the space environment than we've ever had.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
The Edmonton Valley Zoo's red pandas are enjoying their upgraded outdoor habitat, which is now open to the public. Plans are underway for other animals, including Lucy the elephant, to also see their spaces upgraded. CTV's Sacha Petramala has more on the zoo's 15-year plan.
Kiki, the red panda, enjoys a snack in her recently refreshed enclosure.
That's my problem.
The upgrade, Himalayan-inspired, with new climbing structures, boulders, trees, and shrubs. More habitat upgrades like this are included in the Valley Zoo's new 15-year plan.
Animal well-being is the principal underlying theme and priority for this plan.
Improvements for the existing animals are just one part of the plan. It's also hoped the zoo can be home to many new species, with a particular focus on animals suited to the cold.
Coastal Arctic is really a coastal story. We want to really focus on water. We're looking at doing puffins and mures. We're looking at taking the zoo's already existing reindeer and Arctic foxes and doing an exhibit there.
An even bigger undertaking for the proposed coastal Arctic space, bringing in polar bears and sea otters. The plan includes a large habitat for these animals, with an indoor and underwater viewing area.
Most people love polar bears, and the chances of most of us getting to see a polar bear in our lifetime or care about them or contribute to them, unless you are going to the Arctic, you're most likely not going to see them.
One of the zoo's most beloved and controversial residents, Lucy, is also getting a new home. Officials say the 50-year-old elephant is moving to the space the Grevy zebras just moved out of. Construction to make this place Lucy-friendly is set to start this spring.
That means expanding her indoor facilities and her outdoor facilities.
The other improvements, which also include an aerial trail, education center, restaurant with a view, and parking lot revamp, are at least 5 years away and still need funding.
It's in the hundreds of millions of dollars, but again, that's why we've been strategic and are phasing the approach.
The Valley Zoos Development Society says by releasing this plan, it hopes to inspire both private and public investment. It says any funding request to council won't be until after the 2027-2030 budget cycle. Sasha Petramala, CTV News, Edmonton.
After the break, reading with the green and gold, how the Elks are impacting students here in Edmonton.
They really enjoy being able to hear people's perspectives on how much they liked reading when they were growing up.
Programming brought to you by A Very Merry Pops with your Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. Learn more at winspearcenter.com.
Welcome back. -9 this morning, right around average, slightly above average, and slightly above zero this afternoon, 0.7 for a daytime high. That might be the last time we're above the freezing mark for a good string of days. Monday, there's a chance we maybe sneak just slightly above the freezing mark, but it's going to cool off in a big way. Tomorrow, cloudy skies across the north, mixed sun and cloud in the Edmonton region, little more sunshine as you move further to the south. You can see some flurries or light snow moving into the Peace Country late in the day tomorrow, and then that kind of drifts off to the east-southeast through the day Thursday. It's not a big system, but flurries to maybe a dusting of snow by the end of the day Thursday. We will see some heavier snow, it looks like, late Thursday and into Friday in southern Alberta once again. -12 here in Edmonton tomorrow morning. And we'll be around -13 in east central northeastern Alberta, Grand Prairie as well in that -13 range. Daytime highs tomorrow, -8 to -9s. Across the northeast. Fog advisory in effect for the Cold Lake, Bonnyville regions, Vegreville, Lloydminster probably wake up to some fog as well. That should burn off by mid-morning. -5 in Grand Prairie for a high, and about -2 in Jasper. Cooler up at Marmot Basin, and because of all the snow that they've had, Marmot Basin officially opens tomorrow. -6 in Red Deer, and as we said, fog through the morning hours in Lloydminster, then cloudy and -8 in the afternoon. Here in the city, -6 tomorrow, -7 Thursday, chance of flurries. No heavy snow, but maybe a few flurries. And then mostly cloudy and -9 for Friday, -9 again Saturday. We do start to get back into some milder air, though, it looks like next week as a series of low pressure systems will go through. So that'll kick out the coldest air. We'll get back to about -4 or -5 Sunday with the chance of flurries. Chance of snow every single day next week. +1 on Monday, and then in the -2 to -5 range through the middle to the end. So it gets cold in the short term and then snowy in the long term. That is your forecast.
Story time at a local school featured a familiar face from the green and gold.
Did I write it? No, I'm an athlete, not an author.
Edmonton Elks defensive backs coach Aaron Grimes read, "Not without my teammates," to the kids at St. Maria Goretti. The special appearance is part of Read In Week, an annual event across Edmonton schools that promotes literacy.
I think it's important to let these kids know that no matter how old they get, to continue to read, exercise their brain, and just expand their knowledge.
When a special guest comes in and reads something new, it's a novel for the students, and they really enjoy being able to hear people's perspectives on how much they liked reading when they were growing up and how they feel about the story that they brought.
Reading Week is usually the first week of October, but was postponed this year due to the teacher strike. Oh, that's wholesome. That's all from us on this Tuesday, folks. Thanks for joining us to wrap up your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. Same time, same place. Until then, take care and bye for now.